So what do you have outside of poems that gives you a very, very specific kind of lens for how you look at work, and how can you then explain that to somebody else? So for example, mine is consistently theology. So I have my MFA with cool degrees, whatever, but I'm a poet, but I also have this huge background in theology, and my theology work changed the way that I look at poems. So what I tend to talk about, I don't want to say that nobody else is talking about that, because that's not true, and there are other scholars who I could reference, but what I talk about that tends to generate interest is a combination of theology and poems, and like theology is a way to look at poetry. And that's really interesting to people, because a lot of people don't read work that way, and it's giving them a new way to read work. So how does your specific lens, your specific framework, what you are actually centered in, how does that change how you read something or engage with something? And then what can you then share with somebody? How can you kind of expand somebody else's mind on a thing?
Yeah. I think we talk about this sometimes as well, as kind of like increasing the resolution on like what we're working on. And so as opposed to somebody having content that is like let's say like you're into science, right? And so if you're into science, maybe you're not just your poems are about science. Like, well, maybe you have a component where there's like some kind of experimentation that's taking place, or some kind of like different coloration, or like some kind of visual medium that kind of displays science.
I like this idea of like taking different fields and finding ways to unite them to find unique perspectives. So for instance, like theology and poetry, because I think that's really where you can start really getting some really specific angles, because not everyone, I'll rephrase, I think a key component of like thought leadership and like education and taking on this role of instructor with a unique perspective is also a perspective that people can decline. Like, I think there has to be an ability where some people are really going to resonate with your message and some people are not. Because I think if we're doing something that's too general and be like, oh, like everyone's going to think this, I don't know if you're going to. I think there kind of needs to be a little bit of a tension aspect where people need to be like, I agree with this, or I disagree with this. Not like disagree like I'm going to like fight you about, but disagree like, I just have a different
framework,
view.
Yeah.